Semifinal Sunday at College Nationals is always an unforgettable day. Players work 4 years, sometimes more, to get to this stage. For Tufts, it's been 14 years. For Carleton, unfinished business after their Universe Point loss in last year's Memorial Day Monday final. From Rockford, Illinois, 2026 College Nationals, and the first of 4 semifinals on this Sunday. The undefeated 35-0 Carleton Syzygy against a Tufts team that has only lost 3 times in their journey. Welcome, everybody. Evan Lepler alongside Katie Killebrew. And we got a real spicy matchup today because Carleton has been the standard. As Edward Stevens so eloquently put it on Inside Out, they are unbeaten. But are they unbeatable, particularly with Chagall Gelfand, arguably the best player in the women's division, battling a hamstring injury here this morning?
Yeah, we saw her go down in the quarterfinal and really didn't play for 3/4 of that game. I think in many ways trying to save the leg for this moment.
2-point win for Carleton. They were up 14-10 and then thwarted the Fugue comeback late. Feisty effort from Fugue, but it ultimately fell short. The top seed stays undefeated, and Tufts takes down Pennsylvania. 2 teams that had similar journeys, and Tufts gets the win to get to the semis after losing in the quarters each of the past 4 years. Last meeting was 2 months and 2 days ago, March 22nd. Northwest Challenge, competitive game, Katie, that these two played. Carleton the 15-12 win.
It was a really exciting game between these two, and I think it's one of those things where these teams don't always get a chance to see each other before nationals, and to see each other at Northwest Challenge is kind of the most nationals-esque form of that team that you're going to see, and to get that many points on Carleton, I'm looking forward to this game.
Let's talk about what happened early this morning. Sunday is always a long and exhilarating day, and for these teams, they were up early. And Chagall Gelfand was making plays early, but late in the game, Syzygy had to do it without her. Talking with some members of the Carleton coaching staff, they said they played 0 points without Chagall throughout the season. They're really proud of their ability. And look, this is not a one-woman team. Chloe Hakimi is this unbelievable freshman icon, and she's not the only star. Been really impressed with Mia Fisher, Audrey Gedeke, Kalia McRoy, and so many others wearing the Syzygy jersey.
On the other side of the bracket, the matchup between UPenn and Tufts. UPenn has been really impressive all season, but in this matchup of zones back and forth, it was really the receiving ability of Annabelle White and the throwing ability of Leah Schwartz that put Tufts up over a very strong and top-heavy UPenn team who has made the furthest step in the bracket so far.
Well, Katie, this moment is why Leah Schwartz came back. She's in her 5th year. She lost in the quarters each of the last 4 years, and she has been a standout playmaker ever since she stepped foot on the Somerville campus, and quite frankly, before that. Can she shine under the brightest light she's ever played in?
I think with her, long experience in Frisbee and high-level club experience, the throwing ability and honestly the choice making of Leah has really improved. She's always been able to throw it really far, but choosing the moment, the execution in the wind, this team has asked her to do a lot in the past, and they continue to do so. But last year in the quarterfinals, they got taken out by Vermont, and that really pushed the choice to come back for this team to try to do it one more time. And I think, not being a captain this year, being able to just be a player has been amazing. And somebody new on the scene, but certainly talked about a lot, is Chloe Hakimi.
Well, we've known her name as a college star when she was like a sophomore in high school. Quite literally, she was the youngest player on the U24 team when she was still eligible for the U20 team. Gold medals galore at YCCs and on the international stage. And today is her first college semi at nationals.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure to put on a young player, but like you said, Evan has experience in some bigger games for the national team, but this is a really different energy. College nationals is its own thing, and Chloe is you know, as a 19-year-old college freshman, stepping into, you know, higher, more senior levels of Ultimate and really proving the reason, the hype, that people have been talking about. But now we're in the nitty-gritty. Now we're in the semis, and this is where, you know, all of the eyeballs are on these two teams.
We're moments away from knowing exactly what the Final Four looks like. Over on Ultiworld Field Pass, Stanford and Santa Cruz currently tied 12-12 and battling for the right to face the reigning champs from British Columbia, who won 15-8, running away from Quandary late. Off we go, a quartet of semifinals under the sun in Rockford. Tufts in the semifinals for the first time in 14 years, since the days of Claudia Tajima and Gina Titcomb and many others that fell short on this stage. This is Carleton's 16th appearance all time in the semifinals. They're trying to get to Championship Monday for the 7th time. And zone has been the story of the weekend, but one thing Tufts has done exceptionally well, Katie, is play zone offense. They've been patient, they have been precise, they have shown great trust, not just in their quote-unquote stars, but up and down the lineup, and that's why they beat Penn, and that's why they're here in the semis, and we'll see if Carleton can slow them down.
Tufts is a very patient team in a way that they haven't been in previous seasons, and I think that they have learned as a program to find out what that is. It looks like a no contest from Gelfand on the field. Annabelle White receiving.
Shooting it toward the end zone, and great alert come back to the play. Tufts takes the early lead as Sakina Cotton catches another goal for Iwo.
That's a good way for Tufts to come out and start this semifinal. A clean offensive hold against a really tight cup. You can see 5 players around the disc there, and then Cotton does a great job of stepping in front aggressively to nullify the positioning of Hakimi. You can see there that disc goes up a little bit. It's a very upwind, downwind wind when we were down on the sideline earlier, and that wind position, it's not a thrower's wind necessarily. It's not deeply affecting the discs yet, but it could come into play later, and we're going to see that sometimes those easy holds that you get early in the game really stack up to your advantage as we get down towards the final minutes.
We talked about the Tufts Carleton game at Northwest Challenge. Remember, a year ago, Tufts was in Carleton's position, coming into nationals as the undefeated team. Now, they weren't the 1 seed, they were the 3 seed. They were undefeated, but they also were a little untested, and they hadn't felt the big moments. They lost their first game at nationals against the University of Washington Element, that UW team that went all the way to semis last year. Of course, Element falling short of the bracket this year, but the decision to go to Northwest Challenge and face the best teams in the country in the regular season, Tufts feels really prepared them for this journey here in Rockford. First O point for Carleton, Syzygy, making it look easy so far.
A break from Naomi Fina for the score. I was going to say, if Carleton just goes up the open side all the way and never has to break, Tufts is going to have a hard time, but did force at least a breakthrough for the score. Great layout there from Hakimi to save possession. And then you see the Carleton Fina goes upfield, very speedy, but then looking to attack that open side again. The cutter stops and goes. Great throw there from Fina. I think it was to Barton.
Indeed, 2 turnover free holds as this semifinal starts. Turns out Tufts will not be the only team in the women's division to go from the pre-quarters to the semis, Katie, because Stanford Superfly just came from behind in the second half to finish off UC Santa Cruz Sol 14-12. So it'll be Stanford and UBC in the second women's semi about 5.5 hours from now.
Stanford is the team I've seen improve the most over this weekend, and given that Santa Cruz and Stanford met 6 times earlier in the season, with Santa Cruz winning 5 of those, I honestly had my money on Stanford because it's so difficult to beat a team like that at this tournament so many times.
And the irony is Santa Cruz was such a second half team here on Friday, coming from behind with 7 straight against UCSD. They came from behind to beat Tufts as well, 14-11, the only loss for EWO so far in the tournament. But they fall short against Superfly in the 7th meeting between those teams this season. Stanford only won 2 of them, but today was the one that counted the most. And we'll see Esther Philippek, Sage McGinley-Smith, Freya Speaker-Cotter, and the rest of Stanford later today.
This is a different zone look from Carleton. There's 3 defenders, mostly playing person, but they're poaching the lanes, going off of the defender and stopping the easy upfield throwing angles. Tufts being patient with the disc.
That has been their mantra throughout the tournament. And they really felt that their pre-quarter game is where they really started to click. They took down Michigan 15-12, running away from that Michigan squad late. 8-6 at the half and then 7-4 after halftime.
And you can see patiently now that they're at that half field mark, they're gaining a little bit at a time. The other handlers doing a great job of following up. Almost a turn there on the fake, but retaining possession.
First opportunity for a Carleton block, and it's a turnover indeed, with Carleton's Helen Burris right there defensively. Can Tufts get set and put up some resistance to the Syzygy break chance? Short-handed Syzygy, a team that lost 3 players during the season to ACLs, a team that's seen Chagall Gelfand get dinged here at Nationals, and their first break chance goes awry, turning it over on the sideline.
Yeah, caught the disc, but is out of bounds.
Schwartz up the line, over Cotton, but a layout catch made to save possession by Ellie Lemberg, who was unbelievable this morning against Penn. Cotton keeps it moving. Syzygy gets set, violation called. Sakina Cotton, part of this exceptionally talented sophomore class that has helped Tufts surge into the semis. And they hold to take a 2-1 lead.
Annabelle White with the score does a good job of standing outside of the end zone, and then as the disc is in the air, jumping up, catching, and then landing in the end zone. It's one of the things I've liked about the development of the game. This is a look at the throw from Schwartz, the defensive pressure from Burris making that catch difficult. That is the out of bounds, and landing on the line, that was very close.
Impressive how far Leah Schwartz stepped out of bounds with her foot on the line. Legal play to get that throw intended for Cotton. But the freshman Lemberg saves the day. Tufts captains were absolutely raving about Ellie Lemberg before this tournament, saying she's just a GOAT, a rookie, but you can't deny it. Someone to watch, so humble, so chill, makes crazy plays, skies seniors who've been playing for years, and then makes a joke. Sounds like a Frisbee player.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's sounds like an ideal rookie to have on the team.
Another 0 point without Chagall Gelfand for Syzygy, and they turn it over on offense for the first time. Break opportunity for Tufts. And Iwo gives it back immediately. Tufts won their game this morning, Katie, despite going just 2 for 10 on break chances. But it was good enough, as Venus only converted 1 break in Tufts' 2-goal victory. Floater, middle of the field, bodies converge, and it's smacked down. Friendly fire. Everybody appears to be okay. Mia Fisher and Kylia McRoy colliding, both in pursuit of the same plastic. And then that throw finds the turf immediately as well. Beg your pardon, Chagall Gelfand is on the field for Carleton here, initiating this third opportunity to point. Fina to the end zone, and nice footwork towing it down. Carleton gets the equalizer and the first goal of the semi for Chloe Hakimi.
Watching these players figure this out, we've seen a couple of turnovers, and a lot of them are looking to me like wind bounces. That one where a lot of players came together. So the directionality of the wind, that one going down to the turf, right? So that shows me that the wind has increased, I guess, in its intensity, and this footwork from Hakimi, you can see dragging the toe, gets possession before the second foot goes out of bounds, and that is a clear catch inbounds.
Hakimi, one of the most hyped college freshmen ever.
For a college freshman, she's so unassuming as a player and a person on the sideline. Just almost like going to work, going with the flow, and the quiet intensity with which she plays and continues to anchor an O-line. It's really like an ideal O-line energy that Chloe has. Focused, but not too high emotion, not too low, continuing to make passes and figure out the offense. We're going to see if the Tufts offense can harness that energy. They had a little bit of trouble going in this direction with the wind and the tight zone defense from Carleton.
4 holds to start this game. Each team had a clean hold, and then each team endured a couple of opportunities for the opposing squad to break. Nice grab downfield. Cotton takes the shot. Lemberg unable to reel it in. Beautiful throw. Fina runs it down, gets it to the middle of the field for a belly. Fina relentlessly quick. And a travel called by Mina Brown.
On the thrower? Okay, we're good.
Hard to believe, Katie, here we are in the semifinals, and we got a team that went into nationals last year undefeated against a team that's currently undefeated, and Mina Brown with a foot block on Naomi Fina to get possession back for Iwo. Schwartz can't squeeze it through the tight pack cup. She'll think twice about that throw next time. Some contact on Gelfand, playing through it. Crossfield hammer, too far. And frankly, an excellent throw, but the cutter didn't recognize it quickly enough.
And after that throw, Gelfand calls injury and goes off of the field. Looks like Hakimi is going to go on in her place.
Chagall reached ever so slightly for her hamstring as she walked to the sideline. Continuing to stroll calmly, confidently, relatively normally. Keep an eye on it. Certainly some scary moments late in that quarterfinal this morning. They're up 14-10, seemingly in control. Tufts knows a lot about 14-10 comeback wins. They got Penn with 5 straight goals in a wet, windy final earlier this season. A run that really proved to Tufts that they can be a full team and win the universe point games that they might have lost in the past. Will today be another memorable 2-win day for Iwo? Or can Syzygy get to championship Monday at 36-0 unblemished? Another turnover. Third giveaway of the point from Tufts.
This throwing angle is there, and that cup was interesting because it was kind of forcing to both sidelines, so trying to trap.
Hakimi with a stall count rising, launches a battle in the end zone, and it's knocked away at the last second. There's no foul call.
What a block from Gearing to get that one back, but they're still gonna have to face the teeth of this very close cup. You can see that they're cutting down the angles, and the players are collapsing or getting closer when another player runs into that area between them. Schwartz does a good job at that one, is out, foot on the line.
Well, the observers are going to come together.
Here's a closer look at it.
Ow! Ruled out of bounds.
Yeah, good effort, but the toe is on the line. Line is out of bounds in Ultimate.
Can Carleton pay off this 4th break opportunity of this particular point? Yes, they can. Audrey Gedeke in the end zone for Syzygy's first break of the semis. Demoralizing point for the Tufts O-line, and they got to go right back to work.
Yeah, this is a look at that D from Gearing over the top on the first throw, and that is just the smallest of margins of error, right? Kept the foot down, but the foot was unfortunately just on the edge of the line, and that's the score from Fina to Gedeke, or sorry, not Fina, it was 12 to Gedeke.
Matilda Pro picks up the assist. Gedeke stays out there to pull for Syzygy.
So we've seen cases where the Carleton O-line players are going to flex over onto D-lines to try to get breaks early in a game. And with Burris, McRoy on the field, you're seeing some of those players start to get more involved. Because there's nothing quite like getting 2 breaks in a row.
Leah Schwartz lets it go immediately. It's a perfect strike to Ellie Lemberg. What an answer.
I mean, that's one way to beat a zone for sure. But that's also a little bit more in the downwind direction and a backhand, which in my opinion is Leah's better throw for long distances.
Leah Schwartz has been in Ultimate Frisbee all of her life. Her mom, who's here, started playing long before she was born.
Yeah, and looking up and over the top, you can see that disc come in. That's also going away from the receiver, which is a much more difficult. You see that point right at the beginning saying, I'm going to throw it. I don't want to play against this zone anymore. And that's a good way to stop the momentum from Syzygy. And you could see that they had pulled over those offensive players to be on that line to try to get another break. And then we see McRoy and Burris back on this O-line to go the other direction.
Gelfand is out there as well for Carleton. Leah Schwartz getting a breather on the sideline. Schwartz was literally 6 weeks old when she attended nationals for the first time, Katie. Now a 5th year in her first college semifinal. Uh-oh, Carleton had the throw pop up and elude Fina. And Lila Niels Duffy smacks it down for Tufts.
The wind is shifting directions so intensely right now.
Iwo going for it all, and the deep shot looking for Tur, incomplete. Carleton now launching this one, and somehow it floats perfectly to Mia Fisher with defenders surrounding her, but nobody stopped the Frisbee.
Yeah, you cannot assume with a team like Carleton that they're not going to catch it. You have to get the D, be sure.
A gift of about 40 yards on that completion from Tufts. Inside break from Hakimi. On the doorstep, it's Barton. Back to Chloe. The freshman from Seattle throws the score, and Helen Burris puts Carleton back in front.
Yeah, Burris getting the score after throwing the throw that popped up a little bit. Always nervy moments in big games like this where younger players who are there, Helen also a freshman, have maybe a little bit of nerves of wanting to get it right, to do all of those things. But this is their just going away. The great work from the receiver. And that's the inside break from Hakimi. Getting open on the open side, dishing. You can see the quickness of the fakes, moving the mark. And you have to respect that in many ways, because Hakimi's throwing prowess can really go to either side.
And there's Dad. He's been arguing with observers ever since observers came into existence. Lou, a Carleton alum, class of '95. His daughter Opal tore her ACL, the first or second point she played of the season at Santa Barbara. Carleton also lost Melba Henley and Sam Merritt to torn ACLs during the season. And Logan Weiss said, now maybe in the 13 or 14 years he's coached the Carleton women, they've had 5 ACL tears before this season. In those 13, 14 years, he couldn't remember how long he'd been there. And top 3 this year, an outlier for sure. Has left Carleton short-staffed. And after the Hakimi assist, it's Tufts working it down the field. Brown and Lenberg combine for the equalizer. Carleton still up a break, Katie, but 4-all.
Yeah, what impressed me about that point in particular from Tufts is their ability to learn the zone, right? So we saw earlier in the game that zone was taking them a really long time to score through. They weren't able to find the holes. They were struggling. And then this point you can see moving the disc up the field pretty easily, not letting the zone get set, and then finding, crashes. That was a great work from Gearing to hold that one, but then Schwartz pushing up through the cup, trying to throw past it, finding that laser quick angle, and then flipping it in for the score. And that there's 3 ways to bait a zone, right? You can go around it, you can go over it, or you can go through it. And sometimes you have to figure out which one of those is going to be most effective. But Ellie Lemberg gets the second score and goal in that stat line.
It's a large coaching staff for Syzygy. There's Logan Weiss, Courtney Kiso, Lou Burris, Claire Thalen, and Sarah Mextroth as well. There's not a long time in between the end of the 8:30 quarterfinal this morning and when warm-ups begin, but in the indoor building behind this main showcase field, the Carleton Brain Trust was huddled up for a good hour or so that they had, studying film, drafting the scouting report and the game plan. Tufts comes up with a zone D, intercepted easily by Gearing.
Yeah, Tufts has put all their top players on this line to also try to get the what I'm going to call upwind break, but
it's not a ferocious wind, but this is the upwind direction. This is who they want the disc in the hands near the goal line, and Schwartz shows why. Tufts' first break of the semis. We're back on serve as Iwo retakes the lead.
You said that you saw the Carleton coaches in a brain trust, and I said I met the Tufts coaches in Starbucks this morning, also having a meeting about their 2 potential matchups and how that was going to go. But this was a really tactically great decision to move those O-line players to try to get a break. That is upline from Schwartz, who moves. You can see how many players are clustered around the discs, and Leah allowed to go through, and that was almost a block. But the catch here is another look at it from, I think that's Brooke Chomko.
Yep. Three assists already for Leah. Chomko, one of the captains, in the end zone for the first time here in the semifinal. The Tufts coaching staff says they have a hive mind. Sanghwa Hong led this program for so long, stepped away. I got to imagine she's watching from afar. But Meriden Estes, Eddie Lamb, Caitlin Lee, Megan Wilson, the quartet leading this team now on the coaching side. It's a nice throw from Hakimi. The defense set up to deny that throw, and she took it anyway. Gelfand is on the sideline. She is not on the field for this Carleton O point.
Looks like there's a violation call.
And this is coming back.
Well before the throw from Burris. Unsure what it was, but it looks like there's a discussion actually all the way back of a foul.
before when Chloe had the disc back there. The best you can get.
I think it might be Brown and Barton actually having the discussion, maybe being bumped.
I don't know. Maybe I think the throw could have went like that was happening over here. I threw it.
Because I don't think I put you.
Like I don't think it's a goal, but I think it still would stay with the test.
I think that that's exactly my job in the cup, is stopping that throw from going off, and I didn't play that job because I called the foul.
We can go to the
Okay.
yeah.
My ruling was it's not a foul. However, it was before the throwing motion, so it's still staying here as best as we can. Two. Yeah, sorry. We're on one.
Yeah, so players away from the disc talking about being impacted in their movement, and a foul call stops play immediately, so it has to go back regardless of the impact.
Oh, talk about a small window. Chloe Hakimi, next level vision. 5-all here in the first semi of the day.
I think one of the things that I'm seeing that I think makes Hakimi so great is that there's an expected place for the disc to go next, and very often is allowing that to distract the defenders and then hit something inside. So a lot of times we'll see throws go up and over the top outside the sideline and then come back in, and instead fakes that, let the receiver in that area go, right, and then hits that inside lane. Even the camera moved a little bit because that's where we are expecting things, and Hakimi does a really good job of being calm but unexpected.
Timeout taken. 5-all in the first half. Logan Weiss made an interesting point in our pre-nationals conversation, saying usually when players come to college ultimate is the fastest form of the sport that they've played. But for Hakimi, that's just not true. She's played elite club, she's played at world championships, so she was ready for the speed of the game, and everybody else has to catch up to her. Good luck.
Well, Tufts is certainly going to try, and right now at a 5-5 game, it feels like the road that they've taken to get here, they're going to have to work, right, to make a little bit of an inroad. This is just this tournament.
3 straight 15-11 wins. The loss to Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz falling short. Stanford getting the better of their regional rival. And there's Carleton. Competitive game with Colorado. Competitive game with Oregon. But at regionals, Carleton allowed 7 goals in the whole tournament. Literally.
I mean, Carleton is also in a region that is not known for its depth.
Not at the moment, of course.
And that's one of the reasons why they have gone to Northwest Challenge. We see that pull rolling way out the back.
Well, mishandled pull receive, but Tufts touched it. So Kate Gearing has to initiate this from the back line of the end zone.
Tough position to be in.
Fiona Wong on the mark. I beg your pardon, Audrey Gedeke on the mark. That's well done by Tufts to get it out of the end zone, and now the deep shot flies, and it's Fina with the easy interception.
Yeah, you can see Carleton now crossing over players to try to get a break back.
Layout won't go. Barton comes up empty. By the way, Gelfand is on the field for this Syzygy D point. Clearly not moving her best, but this is the semis of nationals. Yeah, you see the player that Gelfand was guarding, Amy Say, taken off, and Tufts needs to recognize that. Chagall struggling to stay with her. And instead, Tufts throws it away.
I believe that was Gedeke with the D and grab.
This is what you call a standler. Gelfand's throw over the outstretched leap of Kylie McRoy.
Honestly, I like the throw. I think that the receiver was coming a little bit too much towards it. If McRoy waits, hesitates a second, then can attack the disc, especially because I think she has the verticality to get over Schwartz.
Say going deep, and Tufts launches it. Chagall's in position for the block, and the disc finds the ground.
Annabelle White almost got that.
It's a nice find. Gedeke back to Hakimi. Oh, tough catch on the laser. Fina, end zone. Burris unable to keep it in. I beg your pardon, Fisher. Fisher comes up empty on the sideline. Heck of an effort. Still a turn.
Yeah, that's the second of this game where the player has caught it but put their foot on the line as opposed to in bounds. Brutal to get the turns that way when you're so close.
Sixth turnover of this point as both teams pursue their sixth score of the semi. Another break chance here for Syzygy. Hakimi to the end zone. Eliza Barton brings it in. Lou Burris does the spike. Syzygy retakes the lead.
A really smart choice from the Carleton coaches. We'd seen a lot of zones out of Carleton, and then in order to try to get the break, they put their, half of their O-line, a lot of really good person defenders on the line, and then they make Tufts work. There's another look at it, and you can see goes across the line before they had stopped rotation. Tufts is really laying it all out on the line too, but just the person intensity, the change in pace from zone to person offense puts Carleton up a break.
Second break for Syzygy. Tufts trailing by 1 here in this first half. After their loss in quarters last year, Katie, on Universe to a regional rival in Vermont, they said they knew physically we had a good enough team to beat them. Mentally is where they needed to rise up. They said it was a mental thing, and that's just as important as the physical aspect, and they worked really hard to challenge themselves this season, to put themselves in hard mental situations, including Northwest Challenge. There's no harder situation mentally than facing an undefeated team in the semifinals at Nationals.
I mean, Nationals is a little bit of a meat grinder of a tournament mentally. It's so different than the pattern that you're used to of playing 3 or 4 games in a row. You have to play one of the most intense games you've ever played, and then you have a round off.
Lou Burris was annoyed that USA Ultimate forced him to put his shoes on. He prefers to coach barefoot. That's when he's at his best. But they asked him to put the footwear on, and he obliged. Lou was last a head coach in the women's collegiate division in 2015, taking Oregon Fugue to their second title in 3 years. Jesse Schaffner among the stars of that Oregon squad, which was a fantastic team, but they didn't go undefeated. Lou has never been a part of an undefeated team during his long Frisbee life. Oh, deep grab there, leads to the score. Lemberg puts it in, and Tufts is living in the moment. Annabelle White continues to make plays for Iwo.
I mean, there's a reason so many teams in the division, when they talk about players that have made impacts that they are so annoyed to play against, it's because Annabelle White is so good in the air. She's so difficult to defend, and as a target, look, going backwards, reads it really well. The throw wasn't perfect, but White really makes the most of this. You can see another angle of it where it's going up and across the field and backwards. The deep Gedeke coming in from a better angle, but White just manages to get there, almost reaching behind her head and twirling.
I mean, her teammates say she's good at everything. She went to spike ball nationals multiple times, in addition to ultimate nationals. Great ice hockey player, and like anything she tries, they were on the track running one day and the high jump was set up and they all tried it, and of course she cleared the bar gracefully with ease. All right, we got a game here, Katie. 6-all. The sun shining. A slight but not vicious breeze in Rockford. What a day.
Yeah, that pull actually landed on the line. The line is getting a lot of airtime today, but the line is out, and therefore the disc is going to be centered on that, what we call the brick mark. Hakimi with the disc.
And launching. Fisher got it. Welcome to the big show, Chloe Hakimi. Take mercy on us all.
I don't know why anyone forces her backhand. Her backhand is so good. You know, Tufts has proved so far that they have been able to have those kind of quick scores twice, and this is the first one from Carleton, but my gosh, all the way pull play, right? It's a drawn up play from that stop disc situation, pulls the defenders in, and you can see Hakimi stepping out there. Had to signal the cutter that is the clear to get out of the way in order to put that one up, but Fisher really putting on the jets too to get distance from the defender.
There have been a lot of special players to wear the Syzygy jersey. Too many to list right now. You wonder where Hakimi will rank by the time she's all said and done. I think the last freshman that came to college with as much hype as Hakimi was probably Jack Verjou at Dartmouth. And Verjou won the 2019 Callahan as Tufts turns it over. Chance to break for half, and just like that, Chloe Hakimi is in the end zone. Syzygy leads 8-6.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about a rookie class that has impact, you also have to include Helen Burris, and that has been an integral part, a connecting piece in this Syzygy O-line, and that was the player that did the give-go with Hakimi. shaking a little bit with emotion. It's a big thing to take half. Here's another look at that disc down. Tried to get dug out, but it was down before it even got to the player. Burris picks up immediately.
Another break for Syzygy. They'll receive to start the second half, looking to stretch it to a 3-goal lead. First semifinal in college for Chloe Hakimi. We know she belongs.
The best of College Ultimate is here, but this summer the game goes global. From the rising stars of World Junior Ultimate Championships to the seasoned battles of the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships to the biggest stage in Club Ultimate, the World Ultimate Club Championships. Watch the best of the best represent their countries, their clubs, and the future of the sport. Watch it all unfold live exclusively on Ultiworld.
Competitive first half in our first semifinal, but Syzygy takes the 8-6 halftime lead over Tufts EWO. Logan Weiss, coach of Carleton, kind enough to join us. Logan, Chagall Gelfand doesn't look 100%, but she's gutting it out. What can you tell us about how she's feeling?
She's got a tight hamstring, so we're just working through that, trying to make sure that we are just trying to put her in situations where it makes sense for her to play. The rest of the team is doing a great job, got a lot of depth, and those folks are carrying the load admirably, as you can see. So really proud with how we're playing across the board.
Seems like Chloe Hakimi was ready for this moment.
Yeah, she's playing awesome, kind of as expected, and like I said, I mean those folks around her are making it easy. They know how to play with her, and so the chemistry is really there, and yeah, she's here to play.
Going back to your quarterfinal, you guys were up 14-10 and almost let Oregon back in. But what was your messaging to the team, and how did that moment of adversity help you get here?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think like this game, that was a windy game, and particularly kind of upwind downwind game. So obviously, once we gave up that first break, that second break was challenging to not concede as well. So like I'm saying, it's a game where breaks come in pairs. Yeah, I mean, I think our messaging there was like that was one little blip, a moment of adversity, and at the same time, we don't need to change how we play just because the other team has a momentary success.
Logan, what's the primary message to your team as you look to close it out here in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, we're just focused on trying to stay gritty, stay in the moment, play hard, knowing that this second half is the one that's important, and we're just playing for another chance to play again together tomorrow.
Logan, we really appreciate your time. Best of luck going forward.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Veteran head coach of this Carleton team. Suffered a heartbreaking loss, Katie, in the finals last year on Universe Point to British Columbia. But 3 first half breaks here in this semifinal, putting them in position, and Hakimi has seemingly taken the game over. I mean, there are a lot of great players on both of these teams, and it's the Hakimi show.
Yeah, certainly has her fingerprints all over this first half, but not a lot of blocks from these two teams that are really known for their defense. Zone kind of taking the name, and Hakimi taking advantage of the throwing windows. Tippy-toe that one in there, getting it through the zones. Leah Schwartz probably wants to get a little bit more of her fingerprints on this with some of the big throws that she has as well.
Tufts getting some highlights from Annabelle White, Sakina Cotton, and others. But at the end of the half, Helen Burris and Chloe Hakimi collaborating to make it 8-6. Let's chat with the trailing coach, Megan Wilson, kind enough to join us. Megan, thank you. What in your mind has been the story of the game so far, and how do you win the second half?
I think we start the game by seeing what they want to do on offense, and so we can see what we want to play against them on defense. There's definitely been a change of conditions out here. The wind directions has shifted a little bit, and so this half is about kind of adjusting how we're setting up our D to take advantage of that.
We saw you get one of those breaks back in the game, kind of changing the tempo. Who are you looking to in this second half to make that change happen?
I think we're looking to all of our marks I think that is, a bunch of people on our team, but we know what they want to throw. We know they want like that around backhand outside the end zone. And so anybody that's marking, that's who we're looking to kind of change the course of this game.
And lastly, Megan, this is a Tufts program that's at Nationals for the 18th time. Only 6 schools have been to Nationals more. But you've been knocking on the door of the semis for so long. You finally get here. What was the difference that gave this team the chance to get to this stage?
I think this year has been about adaptability. We played some really hard regular season games. We had different people kind of out with injury and playing, and so we had to get used to playing in different conditions and different positions than we're used to, and we're just kind of throwing all of that out on the field this weekend and seeing what works.
All right. Remember to have fun. Best of luck in the second half. Enjoy it. Thanks, Megan.
Thank you.
Katie, can you name the 6 programs that have been to Nationals in the women's division more frequently than Tufts?
Well, I know that Carleton and Stanford are up there, but I didn't know we were doing trivia today, Evan.
I like to catch you off guard,
That's
keep you
true,
on your toes.
That's true. Well, 2 out of 6 isn't bad. I guess if I would have to keep going, more than Tufts EWO, it has to be one of the legacy programs. As we're waiting for this second half, UC Santa Barbara.
That is one of the 6. So you got 3. You got 3 more.
I feel like I'm on deep look right now.
All 3 of the teams you haven't mentioned yet played today.
So it must be Oregon.
Yep.
Colorado.
Yep.
Or
one more.
Santa Cruz?
Oh no, you forgot the reigning champions, Katie.
Of course, University of British Columbia.
A lot of great programs. Only one can win every year, and of course it's been more than a quarter of a century since Carleton was the last team standing.
Great dig by Gelfand, but it's called down by a player on the field. I don't know if that was able to stop rotation.
Yeah, that's down, no doubt.
Yeah.
Hold on.
The rule is that you have to stop the rotation of the disc with control before the disc hits a blade of grass.
Or a pellet of turf.
Yes.
You can do a 3-2-1 ground check and we can go.
But that one is very close, and that one's going to stay with Gelfand.
Oh, they did. Wow. Wow. Okay. 3-goal lead for Syzygy.
Yeah, and just as a reminder that the people on the field do not have the benefit of the slow motion replay that we do. And that one was, in the hand and clap catch. I think that the argument from Gelfand that I would see is that her hand was underneath it. But, looking at how it bounces.
Disc hit the ground. It didn't bounce off her arm.
Doesn't look like she had control of it, which is, will be rough, I think, on the rewatch for Tufts to see that could have been a turnover instead of a score extender from Carleton.
Another goal for Helen Burris. And now the largest deficit that Tufts has faced in this game so far. Tufts has never been to the finals. This is just their second ever trip to the semis. Check out this pull from Chloe Hakimi. I think that was into the wind, which continues to swirl. Leah Schwartz. Difficult high stall throw, incomplete. And this is where Syzygy has punished teams all season long. Looking to get to 36-0 heading into Monday. Burris, oh, Hakimi with the hiccup. Felt the footsteps of Annabelle White right behind her.
Yeah, bounced off her chest. Those never feel good.
Here's White. Hakimi on the mark. And snatched away by Gedeke. Hakimi has McRoy going. She launches. Underthrew it a little bit, but McRoy reads it well. Largest lead of the semis for Carleton.
I love watching Chloe Hakimi's face through that, knew it wasn't what she wanted, and then points in the direction that it was, and then celebrates extremely when McRoy reads it well. This is a look at that snag by Gedeke. I'm sure that there's a get a D joke in there. That might be the best backhand throw in college that she has. I honestly don't know why people let her throw a backhand. She's unmarked over there. And honestly wasn't the execution that she wanted or knows that she can have, but still catchable. 2 receivers in the area. I mean, Tufts has some great defenders. As you can see, Hakimi getting a little bit of a refresher from the backpack cooler.
In Ultiworld's pre-nationals polling, talking about who are the top players in women's ultimate Frisbee, Hakimi was ranked 5th behind her teammate Chagall Gelfand, who was first, Mika Kurahashi from UBC, Rachel Chang from UC Santa Cruz, and Penn's Grace Maroon, who was absolutely scintillating spectacular here at Nationals. So, I mean, you could say the same for all of them, but watching Maroon lead Penn to the quarters, winning their pool as the 3 seed in that pool was really impressive. But I think they might have undersold Hakimi a little bit with what we're seeing today, Katie. (10-6) Carleton. UBC versus Stanford in the second women's semifinal, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central Time. Of course, in the men's semis, 2:30 Central, 3:30 Eastern. Top seed Oregon Eagle against UMass Zudisk. Both those teams lost in the semifinals last year. And later today, we'll see Colorado and Carleton, the men's side. Both those teams won the semifinals last year in the men's division. Tufts struggling to complete passes right now. And Carleton missing a chance to twist the knife with that drop on the sideline by Pro.
Carleton has gone back to this 4-person cup.
To White. Tufts trying to work it through this defense, and a little crash of the cup and a conversion for White, and the first score of the second half for EWO.
Now that's the second time we've seen Tufts do that against the zone. They get towards the end zone and then jump in. It's really good awareness. Here's another look at the turn. Disc goes a little bit low and almost off the shin of Pro. And that's the throw from Schwartz. White dishes it to Deering. And then You can see here, and then is going to come around the backside, flip it, and jump in.
Jamming it in, Leah Schwartz. Another assist. This could be her final time playing for EWO here today. Storied career. Unfinished business for Syzygy and their staff.
I mean, in many ways, this entire season, since the moment they turned it in that Universe Point game, has been about getting back to the final. It has been maybe a Carleton revenge tour in many ways.
Well, it helps to add Chloe Hakimi. Middle of the field for Mia Fisher, and Mia Fisher, by the way. Phenomenal first season for her. I knew she had potential, but she has really blossomed, maximizing that potential, and still very, very young.
I mean, Chagall is only a junior. The youth of this team is unreal. That one floats a little bit, but Hakimi gets it anyway.
Pit called. Gelfand's like, I'm the fastest one in the field. Not today, perhaps.
There's a lot of speed out on that field.
I know.
Contesting. Okay, do we want to leave it foul or pick contest or come to the observer for a ruling? Okay. Okay. My ruling, it's not a pick. You did not have a play on it. You can catch up relative distance, but it's staying at 19. So
all right, Gelfand will keep the disc, which is good news for Carleton.
I mean, they would have kept the position anyway on a pick. It's just whether or not Gelfand gets to keep it or if it has to go back to Hakimi. And if you have to choose a player to have, the disc in their hands, not bad options.
Gelfand, oh, 3 defenders right there. And Hakimi has made a call.
I just feel like I pulled up because I saw 2 people running directly at me from this blind side.
Can I give perspective on it? I don't know if I'm the one
I mean, it's tough to call a dangerous play when the opponent is playing defense, but I'll be curious to hear what Team Orange has to say about this.
It's our responsibility to make sure there's no contact, and we did make sure of that.
I can see where Hakimi is coming from, because was going upline looking where she was going, and 2 players were coming in, and if Hakimi did not slow up, the other players were not, proving that they weren't going to create a collision.
This opens a crazy can of worms if this dangerous play is upheld.
I mean, looking at it another time, here it is from a top view, and you can see that there's 2 players coming in, and
So
Hakimi is saying that she showed up because those 2 players
White,
were
which is
coming
now
in
defense.
at her.
20 seconds.
Observer says he didn't think it was dangerous, and it is a turnover, and Tufts will take over. I mean, on the one hand, you understand Hakimi making the call because she doesn't make a play at the disc. And that's a smart play by Hakimi, because if she makes a play at the disc, it's probably a collision. But the defender had the play on it. And there's Annabelle White. Mikra didn't even try to sky White on that deep shot. Still work to do for Tufts. Leah Schwartz, forced backhand by Hakimi. Active mark for Chloe. And contact.
On the mark.
okay, so foul contest. Do we all come to me for a ruling, or?
Yeah, I thought I had my arm up and I like trying to fake it.
Okay, we want to come to me for a ruling. Is that what's going to? My ruling? It was a foul. You did contact them. 1.
That's big, because it would have been a high stall situation if it was just a contest. Now Schwartz with a fresh 10 count. Gearing continues for Brown. And off the fingertips of Cotton in the end zone. Gonzalez in the end zone, not Cotton. My mistake. Carleton comes the other way. Chagall surveys. You got to think she knows she can put it anywhere she wants on the field, even in these blustery Rockford conditions. Burris makes the play, calling Gelfand off, and the backhand from Burris pops up and leads to a turn.
A lot more turnovers in this point than we've seen previously in this game, and it's one of those, can be a turning point in the game, no pun intended. Just because the shift of emotionality is so intense, there's a pick called there. And that is a little bit strange, because at least the person I saw signal it was Gelfand, but maybe just physically echoing the call. You can't call a pick while you're on offense.
Oh, sorry, they're still resolving. Okay. It's foul. Great. Coming in on 5. Coming in on 5. Wait. Setting downfield. We're still setting downfield. Ready? All right, coming in on 5.
Back to Frisbee. And it's Fisher in the end zone, controlling the bobble to bring it in. 11-7, Syzygy.
This is just through the fingers in a lot of ways of this Tufts team, between defenders, just below the fingertips. They had it all the way in the end zone. And, Carleton doesn't have to be perfect, but man, with throws like that in between defenders to receivers, right to the chest.
That's the 6th assist for Chloe Hakimi to go along with 2 goals. In a game where Chagall Gelfand has no goals and no assists, Chloe Hakimi is taking over.
I mean, this Carleton O group has proved throughout the course of this season that when they turn the disc, they can and will get it back, which is why the Carleton coaches trust them to pull them over onto that D-line when they need a break, which is what they did that previous point. It was a hard-earned break, and now they're going to get a rest. We're not seeing really any of those players back on the field, and we're seeing a zone look for Iwo to try to work its way through again.
The question for Tufts right now is, do you still believe? We know they can come from a 4-goal deficit and win. We saw it during the season. But Carleton's a different beast. Nobody has slayed the Syzygy team this year.
It's patience, right? It's so hard at this point, because you can see with those players dropping off behind the disc that those lanes to throw upfield are blocked right? This is what I would call a puzzle because you have to move you have to move horizontally in order to move vertically towards the end zone. And you have to hit it in a window. And their defenders from Carleton are doing a really good job of staying in that throwing lane. And it's not that the reset is difficult, it's just that it's so frustrating to go backwards or sideways or just a little bit for so long. And these players know that the clock is going down and they're gonna need to score. And so they just have to be patient until that window opens up.
And after the window opens, you got to punch it in, and Tufts does to get back within 3.
And that is patience rewarded in a zone. When you finally get through it, you finally find that window, the cutters upfield have to be ready to punch it in, to go back towards where the disc is. I feel like my players that I coach have nightmares of me yelling towards at them, because if you get the disc through the zone and then you run away from them, it's so difficult to complete an away pass in the wind. And this was a very poised and patient possession from this Tufts side. They're able to move the disc up and through into that window, and then you can see a lot of players running back away from the disc, but that one worked out for them with White in the end zone.
The motto for this Tufts team all season long has been winning takes work.
They are right. That is a motto that makes sense, because it is something that is not happen in one point or another. It's a cumulative effort over the course of a game, and you have to work for it. You have to work for every possession, every moment in a game in order to come out on top.
In program history before today, EWO is just 1-7 in quarterfinals at college nationals. They have doubled their win total. 2-goal win over Pennsylvania early this morning on this very field. Now they've run into this undefeated juggernaut. Oh, this is well done. Looking for Fisher. And there for the block was Tufts. Gearing in the deep space, does it again. This will force Chagall Gelfand to play defense. On the mark as the Tufts possession begins. And another costly drop from EWO.
Yeah, I'm seeing the flags flip back and forth. Really tricky to throw in this wind.
Hakimi zips it for Fina, who lefty zip for Burris. And it's bobbled out of bounds.
Yeah, and it's
Clean
about
catch is in, but the bobble was out. Sakina caught. Mina Brown, one of the leading goal scorers in this whole tournament. Schwartz unleashes. And a crowd is there. Kylia McRoy comes down with it. Gelfand launches the other way, and the disc wobbling in flight. But Mia Fisher brings it in, unmarked. Fisher, her throw near the sideline is inbounds. Helen Burris makes sure that it's a Carleton score.
Burris bobbled and got it out of bounds earlier in that point, and then really made sure that they had it inbounds for that one. A little bit difficult with that away pass angle, but made it work. Tufts really struggling at this point.
Yeah, the mistakes are adding up.
Another look at the throw from Leah Schwartz. It comes in a little bit in and out of the fingers of Annabelle White. Something that Annabelle almost always usually has, and then Fisher on the other side. And this is the leading pass. It almost goes too far for Burris. Keeps that back foot down. Very good awareness from them.
Three goals for Helen Burris here in the semis. Carleton 3 goals away from returning to the championship game for the second year in a row.
That disc landed literally on the brick mark, on the X. I don't think I've ever seen that before. That was brilliant.
Tufts not wanting to be patient. Annabelle White with a great play to come back to the disc. Here's Gearing. And there's Cotton. Sakina Cotton, full extension.
When Tufts connects from that deep space into the end zone, they are so hard to stop. It's really beautiful connectivity through their cutters into the end zone. Cotton there, full extension layout. Here's another look at the throw from Schwartz, up and in space. White makes sure on that one, and then the angle. This is why she's such a feared receiver. Gets there and then puts the disc out into that space on the logo layout from Cotton.
All right, Carleton 3 away, up by 3. Long way to go before the cap. We got plenty of time. About 72, 73 minutes from now, Oregon Ego versus UMass Zoo Disc. Two teams that lost in the semis last year. One of them will get a step further in 2026. Chloe Hakimi unleashing the deep backhand. Both players mistimed their jump initially, and Kylia McRoy ran out of room to make the play in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, maybe on that first effort would have been inbounds, but on the second one goes out the back of the end zone. Here's another look at the throw from Hakimi. Launches that backhand, and you can see, I believe, White, the defender, and forces that second jump out very close.
Indeed. Oh, incredible catch. A stall called on the throw that might nullify Mina Brown's heroics.
It won't, because if it comes back to the thrower, they will have saved possession.
Okay, so stall contest. Does either player want to come to me for a ruling or leave it? Okay, they actually got it off before you hit T of 10, so it's here.
So the heroic
catch,
stand.
The catch matters. The catch always matters, Evan. What a barrel roll catch to dig that one out.
Nobody in the tournament has scored more goals than Mia Brown. That was a huge catch, especially if Tufts can punch this in for a break. Not in yet, but a sensational snag from Lemberg. Ellie Lemberg continues. Over one target, into the hands of another. My goodness. Right place, right time for Lila Niels Duffy. How many insane plays does it take to score against Carleton?
It will take everything that Tufts has to make a comeback in this game, but that series of plays has proved why they got to this point in the tournament. They get it. They make adjustments and second effort, right? It doesn't always go to the intended receiver, but they have so many receivers on the field who can get this, and they have players who are doing the fundamentals of following the play, creating space at the back of the end zone, and those bailouts, right? It has been bailout after bailout, and you might say they got lucky, but I would say that they are doing a really good job of anticipating where the play is and putting themselves with an opportunity to make something happen.
All season long, Tufts has been testing itself. They haven't been afraid of close games. They haven't been afraid of universe points. They've intentionally chosen in games where they were, say, up 12-11 game to 13, not to stack the line and go for the break, because whereas they lost some universe point games in the past, they feel like they are the team to win those games this year, and they've won a bunch of them along the way. Beat Colorado and Oregon on Universe at Northwest Challenge. They had the crazy come-from-behind win against Pennsylvania, a transformative moment. On an ugly day in Charlotte at Queen City Tune-Up back in February. Tufts 24-3, and that includes the one loss they had on Friday here against Santa Cruz. They've trailed by as many as 4 here in this semifinal. They are back within 2.
And it's these kind of moments where the decision to go to Northwest Challenge, to change up their tournament structure, to try to get more adversity in their season, to try to play in games like this, will it pay off?
They've had very different teams each of the past 4 years, Tufts has, but all had the same result, quarters loss. New team this year, new belief, the history does not matter. Burris squeezes it through for Hakimi. Up the line, Barton. That's a dangerous throw, and it's intercepted. Annabelle White is everywhere.
Yeah, that was a little awkward because got stepped on, maybe established a pivot, couldn't decide, walked forward, got called for travel, had to go back.
Can Tufts take advantage of the fact that Gelfand isn't at her fastest? They're going to launch it long, looking for Cotton, and she's got it, shy of the goal line, beats Fina. Tufts trying to get within 1. Chomko back to Schwartz. The sure-handed handler in her 5th year. Swings it incomplete. Off the mark, looking for White. They just weren't quite on the same exact page.
No, I think a misstep and almost fall for White. Otherwise, that's a completion.
Here's Hakimi. Bluffs the big backhand. Short forehand for Helen Burris. Continue for, as they call her, the team elder, Naomi Fina. So steady, so fast, so good. Up the line, Hakimi's got another dime. Another goal for Helen Burris. And the Seattle Youth Pipeline continues to pay off for Syzygy. 13-10, Tufts was in the red zone with a chance to get back within 1.
Yeah, Gearing and White absolutely laying it all out on the line in that point, both on offense and defense. Just a little misstep, maybe a hole in the turf, or just landed on the ankle a little bit wonky. Here's another look at the score. Fina has it and throws to the up line. They had 3. Carleton likes to go up line, and Burris gets the goal.
Well, before last year, it had been a while since Carleton had been in the finals. Of course, they won it all back in 2000, lost to UC Davis in the finals in 04, lost in the finals to Oregon, a Lou Burris coached Fugue team in 2013. The win over UNC Wilmington 15-9 26 years ago was the last time that Carleton Syzygy won it all. We'll take a timeout. Tufts and Syzygy continue to tangle here in the semis at Nationals. Carleton pulling 2 points away from the final. Logan Weiss said before the tournament that he didn't think the perfect season adds any more pressure. Before Nationals, the team did a lot of film sessions, working on the mental game, trying to build that self-confidence and self-belief. Looking for Lemberg. And out the back, it's ushered by Florence Basile.
Tufts has really been a team that relies on hucking, and when it's not working out, they don't have a reliable other way to score. And so they continue to keep trying it. Sometimes it's working, sometimes not, but the consistency is what they need really to get them back in this game, I think.
And the mindset that Carleton was trying to build in the weeks leading up to the tournament was one of self-confidence. We should expect to win this game. We should expect to win this matchup. A level of positivity even when adversity strikes. I think we've seen that today, particularly from Chloe Hakimi. Oh, incredible catch. Sliding, reaching back behind her, Naomi Fina. Ridiculous. Hakimi again. Off the hands of Audrey Gedeke. Gedeke looked at Chloe and claimed responsibility, said, my bad. Leah Schwartz didn't really have anybody going deep. Annabelle White runs into Hakimi, who had position.
I hear you. Yes, you can have a rules clarification.
Like, I think I had a play on the disc, but I don't know if that's like constitutes foul. Like just getting in the way.
So, if there is a player in front of you and they have established their position in that space, you are not allowed to run into them.
No foul. No foul.
No foul. No, we're good.
I don't think actually called anything. What she asked the observer was, can I ask for a clarification? Right? Say, can I make this call from getting in? And I think the observer quickly explained the rule, and then White makes a very spirited no call. But when there's collisions, you want to talk about it.
Hakimi launches again, and it comes up short into the wind. Schwartz's throw pops up. Annabelle White levitates like it's nothing. Can Tufts continue to trust itself like they've done through the bracket here at Nationals? In the pre-quarters yesterday, in the quarters this morning. One of two teams in the women's division that did not win their pool, yet is still alive in the Final Four. That's a great throw to the end zone. for Ellie Lindbergh.
Can you ask can Tufts trust themselves? You can hear Schwartz saying, we're not going anywhere.
I think Leah might have meant that literally, like she's not leaving the field until this game is over.
She cares
by the field, the proper.
So much. White with springs for legs on that one, but they actually have a lot more patience on that possession, not electing to huck it. They had a longer throw, but they're waiting for a little bit more, and the cutters are actually turning the undercuts. They have more options to throw to, and I think that that's one of the things that they need to keep doing, is you can't win a game like this with throws when the wind is this volatile. You have to do it with your legs. You have to keep running. It's thankless so many times to try to keep changing the space and make something happen, but there's nothing else to do but keep running. You've worked your entire season for this moment to be in semis, to try to go to finals.
Leah Schwartz went to high school in the DC area, all spent some of her youth growing up in Singapore, where, in her words, they don't really have a youth community, so she played Frisbee with adults. Threw a lot with Xavier Maxstad in the DC area when she was growing up. Talented thrower himself in his UNC Wilmington days. Syzygy is a couple possessions of composed offense away from punching their ticket to the final for another year. One-handed snag by Bart, working in the backfield with Hakimi. That throw can't get through that cup. Gelfand turfed it. Another chance for Iwo to inch back within one. And that's the matchup. Schwartz and Hakimi side by side. Gelfand sets the mark as Gearing breaks her around. Here's White. Tufts with momentum. Gearing kind of calling her shot, saying go. Finds a pair of open hands. Amy Say. Back to White.
Not a lot of cutting options, but they find one.
It's Gearing, and it's a one-goal game. And all the neutral fans that just want drama are loving it.
Who isn't a neutral fan who loves drama?
Folks from Northfield.
At some point in their life, maybe not this exact one.
Timeout, Carleton. The miscue from Gelfand. I wouldn't go so far to say that she's been a non-factor, Katie, but she's certainly not herself.
Oh no, they have had a lot of other players that have stepped up and aren't putting quite as much pressure on her. Tufts takes advantage. For one second, I kept thinking that it's almost like the screen was paused, but it's just that no cutters were actually moving. They were all standing, waiting until one person, or they all moved at the same time, and the defender not able to get on the open side. Patience rewarded for Tufts.
Gelfand will watch from the sideline. She's a captain this year. And Logan Weiss talked before the tournament about how in the last couple of years, it can be a little tricky when arguably your top player is an underclassman. And, you know, there wasn't a ton of friction, but I think there was some healthy friction. And now she's got a leadership voice, and she has taken more ownership of this team, matured as a junior. Forced to watch at 13-12 in the semis, though, cannot be easy.
Tufts electing to bring their top line out now.
Not surprising. Leah Schwartz applied to one school early. That school was Tufts. Thank God I got in, she said. Frisbee was a factor. The Tufts women's program has never been deeper at nationals, and they are here, and they've got a chance to tie it if it stands as a turn. Carleton called foul.
Fina moving really fast, and here's another look at the...
Ooh, that looked like great defense on Fisher.
Cool. Ooh, okay, it's gonna be me. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely great defense, but...
I'm calling contact on my hand when I was going for the disc. I think my hand got pushed down.
Okay. Do you want to leave it as a contest and send it back, or do you want to come to me as an observer?
I would like to go to the observer.
Okay. Coming to the observer, that was a foul.
Katie, do you agree?
I think so. I mean, it's so close to being clean, but really affects the player,
it is your
player's
disc. It is your
ability
disc.
to
Please pick it
catch.
up. I
And
think we're doing
to
it.
the
Are we
letter
doing an
of
injury
the
sub?
rules, that's correct. But I mean, you know, the crowd thinks what the crowd wants.
Great.
Well, I mean, I disagree with you.
You're allowed to disagree.
I disagree with the observer, but you guys are 2-1, so I guess that's why the call stands.
I don't think they asked our opinion of it.
Carleton keeps the disc. Will there be some justice from the Frisbee gods?
There is that eternal phrase that disc doesn't lie.
Coming in on one, it was
We
in
shall
the
see.
Back left corner.
Okay, coming in on one, coming
Heck
in
of
on
an effort
one.
from Ellie Lemberg. Hakimi up the line. Fina brings it in. Carleton doubles its lead. Clutch. Chloe delivers again.
You have to respect the effort from Tufts. They are really leaving everything on the field. But now a break from Carleton would be the end of Tufts' season. They're 1 point away. And the big reason why is Chloe Hakimi.
Well, officially, 8 assists, 2 goals for the freshman from Seattle, just 19 years old. Of course, when you start playing Ultimate in 3rd grade, that's a lot of reps that you can develop before you're a freshman. A U20 women's champ, a U24 women's champ, U24 mixed as well. Still out there pulling. And it just lands a yard wide of the sideline. Leah Schwartz will stroll it over to the center.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of white players around that brick mark, seeming like another zone from Carleton.
Tufts needs 1 hold and then back-to-back breaks. Right now, it's just about scoring this point and extending their season a little bit more. Looking for White in the end zone, off her fingertips. And it looked like it was down, though Lemberg tried to keep it alive. The observers will confer. Hakimi calling it down.
Lemberg not letting it go. Here's another look.
I think, yeah.
Okay. No contest. Down, no contest. 20.
Yeah, I think landed under the body and didn't have control before it hit the ground. What a second effort from Lemberg.
Hakimi initiates what could be the game-sealing possession. Chagall Gelfand launches. And it's bobbled and dropped. Emily Kretschmer unable to reel it in. Kretschmer out there to play zone D and try to tire out this Tufts star line. Nice snag on the sideline by Brown. Violation called.
My guess is that might be a double team called.
Okay, come in on 3. Come in on 3. This currently is not a double team.
I don't want to get more excessive.
Okay, we're coming in on 3. Coming in on 3.
Floaty reset, contested, but Gearing comes down with it. Near the sideline, Schwartz. Carleton stays in the zone. And White dishes to Lemberg. 1 goal game again. We have either 1 or 2 points left in this semifinal.
Great awareness from Tufts to keep that in bounds. Elevating in the pile to get that one. Like I said, they are really using everything they have to come back in this game. Great focus from White and Lemberg. Once it got over the cup, they're doing a much better job than earlier in the game of taking advantage of that mismatched numbers, right? There's more offensive players outside of the cup, and they punched it in. Same line, it looks like, for Tufts.
The Tufts women trying to force Universe point. They brought it to Universe 14 years ago in Boulder, Colorado, when Washington, the eventual champ, got the better of them 14-13. Washington thrashed Oregon the next day in the final. Carleton wants nothing to do with Universe.
Tufts did a great job of stopping the pull play and now have settled into a person defense. A stall called.
Is this going to stand as a turn?
Stall, no contest.
It
Stall,
will.
no contest. It'll be just here. You don't have to pick it up, but yeah. Tap, and then we can go live.
Great defense from Tufts. Team defense. There were absolutely no options for Fina to throw to.
Carleton hasn't lost all season. Only once were they even taken to Universe. That was March 22nd against British Columbia. Off the deflection. It's intercepted by Fina.
They didn't have a second player there this time.
Hakimi. Tufts might want to guard her. Up the line and out of reach for Burris.
And that was, again, a really long time that Carleton had to hold the disc. The defensive intensity from Tufts.
Schwartz gets it off the line. Gearing continues for Lemberg. Chloe Hakimi, the hand block, but it's caught anyway. Unbelievable. Mina Brown keeps it alive. And now Lemberg to White. Universe point. Here we go. From 4 goals down, Tufts has fought all the way back against the undefeated #1 seed, Carleton Syzygy.
Finding holes, trusting their teammates, moving defenders. They're going against the grain in many ways, not necessarily to expected spaces. It's the first time they were tied since 6-6. These are the moments you live for, Evan.
And if you're a coach, I mean, what do you say in this situation? Chagall Gelfand will be out there for this do or die point.
And that siren going off would be the soft cap. Sounds a little dramatic, but it is dramatic because it's universe point either way, game to 15.
McRoy, Gelfand, Burris, Barton, Hakimi. Fina as well. Fisher, the 7th Syzygy cutter in the deep space, chased right now by Sakina Cotton. Next point wins. Chloe Hakimi in her first college nationals. The superstar from Seattle near the sideline. The observers look at each other, and then a hesitant in call from the far observer. The trail observer runs up to have a chat. And it will be in bounds. Fina keeps it alive. Play continues. And now it's a turn! To say Carleton was a heavy favorite coming into this week would be an understatement. And yet, with a limited Gelfand and with an upstart Tufts team, Ewo's got a chance to go to the finals. They just need to convert here. Leah Schwartz launches deep to the end zone. It's dropped! Brooke Chomko with a trip to the championship game in her grasp. Cannot make the play. Oh my goodness.
This was in her throat. My heart is in my throat.
Chagall Gelfand with the life of their season flashing before their eyes. What a shot that was from Leah Schwartz. Who knows what's going to happen these next couple of throws. But we're making history in a moment that will not be forgotten ever. Hakimi directing traffic. Low throw, scooped up by a tumbling Eliza Barton. Right back to Hakimi. Tufts defending with their season on the line. And in the middle of the field, it's a call. Barton was wide open, and the reason is Annabelle White, or make it Kate Gearing, called the foul.
What count were we at?
I said 5.
Okay, so coming in on 5.
If she said 5, then it would be staying still on 6.
We are in end zone. Let's cycle. Find our positions.
But I guess we'll see.
Yes.
I'd say this is a pretty important conversation.
It's going to stay there. Sounds like.
Staying here.
Hard time hearing it talked about it, but it looks like the disc is going to stay with Barton after that foul call, but the defender allowed to catch up the distance.
Eliza Barton with the game in her hands, flips it forward into the end zone. The observers say it's a score, and Carleton survives. The unblemished journey toward a revenge title continues. Heartbreak for Tufts on Universe for the second time in 15 years. Hard not to admire Leah Schwartz maintaining a smile on her face in this moment as Carleton breathes a big state school-sized sigh of relief.
This is another look at that turn through the hands into the face, and then Carleton went all the way back down the field. Barton got it twice, and then it was that flip to Fina under tight pressure right in the end zone. What a game from both teams. The top 7 on the line for Tufts played, I think, the last 4 points straight.
And Tufts could have won it right here. Brooke Chomko, kind of an awkward backpedaling attempt. Mia Fisher's like, I didn't touch her. Wow.
And she did not.
It's about as close to victory as you can come without getting it done. Tufts, a valiant effort. They trailed 12-8. They tie it at 14 all, but it's still Carleton surviving and advancing at nationals. And Syzygy will play on Monday for the second year in a row. Wow. Chloe Hakimi joins us now. Chloe, your season must have flashed before your eyes multiple times there down the stretch. What are the emotions as you process the fact that you're going to play in the championship game tomorrow?
Just so incredibly grateful for the opportunity. I think it was obviously a battle on the field, but just having so much trust in using our legs, I just feel so excited to get to have one more game with this amazing team full of so many great people.
You know, we've talked about it. You've had amazing experience internationally, but this is your first year in the college division. What has this year been like for you?
Yeah, it's been pretty incredible. I think living with people and then getting to actually play with them through a gritty 4-day tournament means so much. And I think because the team is never the same. I think that the seniors this year are so incredible, and I am super excited to get to prove it tomorrow and win for them.
With Chagall clearly not being at 100%, how has your mentality changed on the field the last game and a half?
I think just using my legs, knowing that it's windy, sometimes those throws are not as good as usual, so I think making sure that I'm just fighting for those upline cuts, and just having Chagall's back when she needs it.
And what were the emotions when Eliza hit Fina for the game-winning goal there on Universe?
Just so much joy for the sport, for the grind, just knowing that we had it in us all along and we just needed to believe until the end and just not giving up until that last point.
It'll either be a rematch against UBC, a game that presumably you were watching last year, or yes, Stanford in the final. Your quick thoughts on both those teams?
Yeah, both those teams are phenomenal. Stanford obviously has their zone, so we'll see what happens, but I'm excited to play either of them, and I know it'll be a great game.
Chloe, welcome to College Nationals. Thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing you in the championship game tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Her journey has just begun, Katie, and year one as a member of the Syzygy program will end on the final day. It can go against either Superfly or the Thunderbirds, who will be trying to go back-to-back if they can get by Stanford later today. 15-14. Unbelievable. Tufts had a chance for an unforgettable comeback win. but Chomko will see that one in her nightmares. And Chloe Hakimi and Carleton work it down the field. Eliza Barton, an unsung hero for sure. And Carleton is the first team to punch their ticket to the finals. We'll take a quick timeout and then send it to the Inside Out crew for post-game analysis and perspective. It'll also get you ready for the second of the 4 semis between Oregon and UMass on the men's side. What a game, what a start to our semifinal quadruple header. Carleton Syzygy in the finals at Nationals again.
And the DC Shadow are your 2025 Premier Ultimate League champions.
I'm here at the Triangle Ultimate Middle School Championships, where over 30 middle school teams are showing us exactly what the future of our sport looks like. Local, accessible, youth ultimate. At the Ultimate Foundation, we envision a world where everyone has the opportunity to experience Ultimate as a sport that inspires integrity, relationships, and belonging. Founded in 2014, we are the philanthropic arm of USA Ultimate. Our funding priorities are focused on fostering access, growing Youth Ultimate, investing in local communities, and supporting the Girls Ultimate Movement and the Del Rico Johnson Fund. Our mission is to fuel a future for Ultimate that is accessible to all backgrounds and identities by supporting USA Ultimate programs, partners, and communities. Let's stop sitting on the sidelines. Let's make the ultimate difference for the next generation.
The 2026 USA Ultimate College Championships are presented by Discraft, proud home of the UltraStar, the official disc of USA Ultimate, built for flight and trusted by the game's best.
Welcome to Inside Out. You thought pre-quarters was great. You thought quarters was great. That was nothing compared to the show that Carleton Syzygy and Tufts Iwo just put on for us in the first semifinal of Semifinal Sunday, Anna.
An absolute thriller for Carleton, a heartbreaker for Tufts. What a finish.
What a finish. Watching that Tufts little by little, drip by drip by drip by drip, come back like they were building a stalactite of Frisbee excellence, getting closer and closer and closer to Carleton's ceiling, and then they almost broke through
the drop.
at the end.
The drop, it was tough, but Carleton fought back and finished it up.
So many huge plays from both sides. The layout from Tufts going all the way through Sakina Cotton, nearly coming up with that block on the end as Naomi Fina caught the game-winning goal. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from this amazing game. We see a nice toe-in play there from Mina Brown. One of the many skies from Tufts. This is all part of the Tufts comeback. That was Kate Gearing there. Leah Schwartz slinging it. That was the potential game winner to Brooke Chomko. Dropped it. Instead, Carleton marching back up the field. And eventually, after the tap-in, Eliza Barton up to Naomi Fina, past the bid for the game winner. Elation for Carleton. What a game it was. And honestly, what stellar play from Carleton's rookie class. Mia Fisher has been phenomenal all weekend long. We saw her trying to call her shot to get the disc on the final point before they ended up going four-side. And of course, we cannot have a conversation about Carleton without talking about their rookie, Chloe Hakimi.
2 goals, 9 assists, involved in 11 of those points. That's an impressive feat for Chloe Hakimi.
Yeah, and with that win, Carleton advance in the bracket, reaching the final for the second consecutive year. We don't know who they're going to meet yet. they could meet the machine, UBC, who have been mowing down all of their competition so far, or they could meet Stanford, who had to come back late against UC Santa Cruz, who took the loss in pool play to Penn. Anna, who do you think they're going to face, first of all? And then what are the odds that this Carleton team, who keeps bending, will actually break?
You know, I'm hoping that the Thunderbirds can pull it through. We all want to see that double matchup one more time, but Stanford's looking strong. They're coming off of a really, really strong win against the Soul. I think it'll be a great matchup.
It'll definitely be a great matchup. However, first, next round at 2:30 Central, we're going to get to the first men's semifinal. It'll be University of Oregon Ego versus the University of Massachusetts. Zoodisk, stick with us on Ultiworld here at the 2026 USA Ultimate Division I College Championships. For Anna Thorne, I'm Edward Stevens. We'll see you in a couple hours for another episode of Inside Out.